The Christmas ferry crossing from Seattle to Bainbridge Island was packed with holiday travelers. The deck decorated with lights and garlands that swayed with the boat's movement. The night sky was unusually clear, stars visible despite the city lights. And a shooting star had just streaked across the darkness. Everyone on deck had gasped and pointed, making wishes on the fleeting light. Everyone except the young woman in the wheelchair near the railing. Dylan Matthews stood alone at the far end of the deck, away from the crowds, nursing a glass of whiskey. At 42, he was CEO of Matthews Global Industries, a manufacturing empire that had made him one of the wealthiest men in the Pacific Northwest. He'd spent the day at yet another meaningless holiday party, shaking hands with people who wanted his money or his influence. He'd taken the ferry instead of having his driver meet him, because he needed time alone, needed the cold air and dark water to remind him he was still human beneath all the success. He noticed her because she was turned away from the railing, facing the wrong direction entirely. While everyone else looked out at the water and sky, she sat with her back to it all, her blonde hair catching the string lights, her expression one of quiet resignation. She was young, maybe late 20s, wearing a grey cardigan over simple clothes. Her wheelchair was clearly older, well-maintained, but showing signs of heavy use. There was something about her stillness that drew Dylan's attention. Another shooting star streaked across the sky. The crowd erupted in excitement, pointing and laughing and making wishes. The young woman's shoulders tensed, and Dylan saw her blink rapidly, fighting tears. Before he could think better of it, he approached her. "Excuse me, are you all right?" She looked up, surprised. Up close, he could see she was beautiful, with clear blue eyes that held both sadness and remarkable strength. "I'm fine," she said automatically, just enjoying the crossing. "You're facing away from the view." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "The view is fine from here too." Dylan glanced at the railing, then back at her, understanding suddenly clicking into place. "You can't see over the railing from the wheelchair." Her smile faltered. "It's okay. I've taken this ferry dozens of times. I know what the view looks like, but you can't see the stars. Everyone's making wishes on shooting stars, and you're missing it." She shrugged, trying to maintain composure. "I don't believe in wishes anyway. They don't tend to come true for people like me. People like you. People whose bodies don't cooperate. People who need help with things everyone else takes for granted. I've wished on plenty of stars. None of them have made me walk again." Dylan felt something crack in his chest. Here was someone who'd faced more challenges before breakfast than he faced in a month, denied even the simple pleasure of seeing the night sky. "Sir, can you lift me up to see the sky?" she asked suddenly, the words tumbling out like she'd been holding them back. "I know it's a strange request. I know it's asking too much. But there's supposed to be a meteor shower tonight, and I haven't seen the stars properly in 3 years, and Her voice broke. She looked away, embarrassed. Dylan set down his glass. "What's your name, Emma?" "Emma Sullivan." "I'm Dylan. And yes, I'll lift you up. But we can do better than that." He walked to a crew member and had a quiet conversation. The crew member hesitated, then nodded and disappeared inside. "What are you doing?" Emma asked. "Making sure you can see properly." The crew member returned with the captain, who listened to Dylan's request and agreed. Within minutes, they'd opened a gate in the railing and positioned Emma's wheelchair right at the edge. "I can't authorize removing her from the wheelchair for liability reasons," the captain said, "but I can make sure she has the best view possible." Dylan knelt beside Emma's wheelchair. "Is this okay? Can you see?" Emma stared out at the vast expanse of sky and water, tears streaming down her face. "I can see everything." The meteor shower began in earnest, streaks of light painting across the darkness. Emma watched with wonder, her face illuminated by starlight. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have no idea what this means." Dylan sat down on the deck beside her wheelchair. "Tell me, I'd like to understand." Emma told him about the car accident 3 years ago that had left her paralyzed, about losing her job as a travel photographer, about her family slowly pulling away, about the slow erosion of her independence and dreams. "People look at me differently now," she said quietly. "They either treat me like I'm fragile, or they treat me like I'm invisible. I'm the same person I was before the accident, but nobody sees that anymore." "I don't see just the wheelchair," Dylan said. "I see someone who's honest about what she wants, brave enough to ask for help, and still capable of wonder despite everything." Emma looked at him properly for the first time. "Why are you on this ferry alone on Christmas week? My wife left 2 years ago. Said I was more interested in building my empire than building a life with her. She wasn't wrong. I have business associates, but no actual friends. Success has a way of isolating you. At least you can walk away from your problems," Emma said. Then immediately looked horrified. "I'm sorry. That was cruel." But Dylan laughed. "That's exactly what I needed to hear. You're right. I can walk away. I have every advantage, and I'm still miserable. You have every excuse to be bitter, and you're crying with joy over stars. That's humbling." They talked for the rest of the crossing. Emma told him about her photography, about projects she'd dreamed of doing before the accident had stolen that future. Dylan listened, and as she talked, an idea formed. What if you could still do photography, differently than before, but still meaningfully? "I don't have equipment anymore. Had to sell it to pay medical bills." "What if someone provided equipment? My company needs someone to document our facilities, show the human side of what we do. I'd cover equipment, pay professional rates, provide whatever accommodations you need." "Why would you do this?" "Because you asked me to lift you up to see the stars, and I want to keep doing that. You reminded me tonight that success means nothing if you don't use it to help people." Emma studied his face. "One project. We'll see how it goes. And I'm doing it because it's real work, not because you feel sorry for me. Deal?" Over the next 6 months, Emma's photography project became something neither of them expected. Her images were stunning. But more than that, the collaboration brought them together repeatedly. Dylan found himself scheduling visits around Emma's availability, finding excuses to see her. Emma, who'd convinced herself that her disability meant she'd never be desirable again, slowly realized Dylan saw all of her. He never pitied her, never treated her as fragile, but wasn't afraid to help when she needed it. Their first kiss happened on another ferry crossing. Under stars Emma could now see whenever she wanted because Dylan had commissioned a modified wheelchair specifically for stargazing. A year after that ferry crossing, Dylan proposed on the same deck where they'd met. Emma's photography had become acclaimed. She'd started a foundation to provide adaptive equipment to disabled artists. On their wedding day, Emma said in her vows, "You saw me when I was invisible. You lifted me up when I couldn't lift myself. You showed me that losing one dream doesn't mean losing all dreams." Dylan replied, "You taught me that wealth without purpose is poverty. That sometimes the most important thing you can do is simply lift someone up to see the stars." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment about a time when someone helped you see possibilities you thought were lost.